Welcome to the Two Cool Parents Podcast with your host, Will and Shay.
Hey, y'all.
What's good?
Our podcast is for the cool but corny in all of us.
CBC.
Like, subscribe, rate, share. Tune in, y'all.
Let's go.
Hey, guys. Welcome back.
Welcome. We're back to our weekly
recording of the Two Cool Parents Podcast.
We're your hosts, Will and Shay. I'm Will.
I'm Shay.
And we again welcome you guys. We'll get some water.
Yes, we want to welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning back into another edition of our Two Cool Parents Podcast. First and foremost, we want to shout out and give thanks to everybody who's tuned in, listened, rated, subscribed, shared our podcast with their friends, their family. Thank you guys so much for just being faithful listeners, for tuning in every week. We're excited about this season. You know, we're opening, peeling back the layers, opening our doors and kind of letting you guys in on kind of a lot more and being transparent with our listeners as to what's going on with the Will and Shay. So we hope you get a lot out of it. Today's episode is really personal, but we definitely want to be able to share. We believe in honesty, so we want to be able to share with you kind of the things that we go through as we go through struggles, as we go through successes. We want to share them with you. So today's episode is really like into a deep evaluation kind of about, who you are and getting back to, as far as being a married couple, having a moment to check in.
Married couple or, in the dating phase or partners, significant others.
Yes. It's all about that. So, we're going to do some current events real quick and then we'll jump into the meat and potatoes. Well, what you got lined up?
So it's a new week, everything's popping over the last week. Let's see here. On a nerd note,
did y'all get y'all chicken yet? Just asking, did y'all get y'all chicken sandwich yet? Because Popeyes, I heard, was sold out.
Well, yeah. But I did hear that, people are like, well, you're not supporting black businesses or anything like that. So I did see a post and I did a little more research that Hank Aaron and another gentleman own just about up to 30 Popeyes in the Atlanta area, so you are supporting black business.
Hey, there you go. And ATL.
For those who care and want to continue.
Our local Popeyes is not owned by a
but
black
actually,
person.
It's not. But I did.
I mean, they're brown, but they're not one of us.
But I did thank them for their. When I went the last time. To get something, and he was like, "Oh yeah, man, the chicken sandwich is really good." And I was like, "I know it is good." And I tweeted out, I was in Blackwater.
Shout out to Will. His tweet was featured in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Right?
Yeah, in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Mike Scott,
on the move,
right? Mike Scott gave his little piece that Popeyes and Chick-fil-A are his little cheat. Mike Scott's the power forward for the Philadelphia 76ers. Shouts out to my Sixers. But he was saying that how Chick-fil-A and Popeyes are his cheat meals, if you will. But it was just, everyone gave their little choices. Everyone gave their piece about, the chicken sandwiches. I'm telling everyone again, please make sure that you get the
extra sauce, extra pickles, spicy chicken sandwich.
So, that's that first one. The second part, a little bit of the nerd and geek news this week.
We got nerds and geeks who listen to us.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying this is
kind of our updates.
Or I think everyone is, especially if you've seen the movies. I don't care if you like. Oh, I never seen the movies. If you were home on a Saturday afternoon watching nothing but on TV and you saw Captain America on Sci-Fi or TNT or TBS, you are one of us. So apparently, Sony and Marvel are no longer going to share the rights, or Sony's no longer going to give the rights to share Spider-Man and the Spider-Man universe. Which is ridiculous because
we need some sound effects. Ridiculous.
I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on that. We get some sponsors.
Check us out.
Right. So they're not, for right now. It's like there's no one's sitting at the table. Basically, from the gist of it is that Sony feels as though that since Spider-Man, the most recent one, Far From Home, which is partly after the blip, as they said in the film, or the snap, or the vanishing from where you saw the Endgame, made $1 billion in the box office. Sony feels as though since that and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, they can pretty much do whatever they want to do with Spider-Man. They don't need that. On the money side of it, also on the money side of it still is that it was a 70-30 split between Sony and Marvel, but Marvel was like, well, we can do
who got 70 and who got 30?
Sony got 70.
Okay.
And Marvel got 30. Or Marvel got 30.
And now they want the whole pie.
Marvel was like, well, let's make it 50-50 because, we're all eating now. You guys got to see that, over 2 films. And
Marvel was like, yeah, we want a bigger piece of the pie.
Well, no, not just a bigger piece of the pie, but you see over 2 standalone films and, what was it, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame. So Spider-Man's been in 5 films in the MCU, and all of these films have made over just about $1 billion. And
facts. And listen, if you guys haven't seen the whole, Avengers trilogy, Spider-Man plays a huge part in it, and pulls on everyone's heartstrings.
Yeah, Mr. Tony, I don't want to die.
So I mean, I get Marvel. They like,
we have a product.
Want our check.
We have a not just a check, but there's a check. But look,
let's go 50-50.
We have a product that we've been putting out since 2008, consistently, year over year. I mean, there's been a couple movies where like, yeah, but they still made money, and then they kind of revamped it, and like now we're making even more money. I'm talking to you, Thor. Thank you, Tiki Waititi, for Thor Ragnarok, but that piece with that. So I just think that especially since Disney purchased 20th Century Fox, the rights basically back to almost all that. I feel as though, and this is all of us online who've been talking about it in the Reddit rooms and all that jazz,
Disney, this is Will's nerd moment, guys.
Disney is going to buy Sony Entertainment.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And with Sony Entertainment, you're going to get back the Spider-Man universe, all of that, and you'll get Men in Black, and you'll get like a few other movies out there and whatnot, and I forget the other ones, but Men in Black International took a huge dive. If you put that underneath, the House of Mouse, that would definitely do something. But speaking of the House of Mouse, one more thing before we kick it back over to Shay. Black Panther 2, May 6th, 2022 is coming out. Wakanda Forever.
2022. Hey, how old will we be in 2022?
Well, that'll be 3 years from now.
3 years from now. So, like, why, Ryan, does it take you 3 years to make this movie when it takes Marvel a year and a half to make Avengers Endgame?
Well, it's not just him. That's the other part back to the whole Spider-Man thing.
I'm asking you.
It's another thing back to this whole Spider-Man thing because what's his name? Kevin Feige, who is like the producer, who basically is like, I would say not the new Stan Lee, but pretty much is like leading this Marvel movie studio forefront of everything, has it laid out for Phase 4. And in Phase 4, he's going to drop there. So right now, all the movies for Phase 4 are like not until 2021, 2022.
Yes, we have to wait an entire year.
2 years. 3 years now.
Yeah, at least, until 2021. For anything. So next year, there might be something slated for 2020.
But the thing is, right now in the middle, especially with the House of Mouse, as we all call it, Disney Plus is coming out, the new streaming service. So with that new streaming service, it's going to allow you to see the new, similar to what they had on Netflix with Daredevil and Luke Cage and all that. They're actually going to have the actors from the movies in these new shows. They have Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, several other ones, from the MCU with that. So I think those are going to be the fillers for now. Oh, Loki is getting a show. So they're going to be the fillers for that going forward.
Maybe so. I mean, listen, House of Mouse doing this thing.
Side note, please, and I please beg you, I know all those underneath the sound of my voice, please let's hope that Ryan and Disney do not letting every black actor and actress like Empire did.
Listen,
season 2. As soon as I saw season 2, episode 1, I said, turn it off. I don't want to watch it no more.
Yeah,
because that was horrible.
Let's just bring back those who were acting, and let's make a season 2. Bring back some new people, some new faces. Bring back some young folks.
We may get Storm.
Let's bring back Storm. Come on now.
No, we may get Storm in this.
Yes, because for those who don't know, I do have. I just deleted it off my my Instagram. I mean my Facebook page, but my Facebook page was a picture of Black Panther and Storm kissing.
Storm, yeah.
For those who don't know, they were married.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom. But she left him. Boom, boom, boom. But like I was gonna say, speaking of House of Mouse, they're just doing amazing things. Like they're moving and shaking, and they're coming for whoever's out there. They're joining forces with Target in a couple of months, starting I believe in October. They're going to be building a Disney pop-up shop. So you remember they closed a lot of those Disney stores that used to be in the mall. They're going to be opening up pop-up shops in Target. So now you can shop your favorite House of Mouse characters and all those shows that come on, those Disney favorite shows. You'll be able to shop your favorite character tees, pajamas, and things like that for your kids right there at Target. And guess what? Cartwheel. Yep, you know it. For those who shop at Target, I live on Cartwheel. You're able to, get additional percentage off with. That's who should be our sponsor is Target. As much money as I'm spending at Target, they need to be our sponsors. Well, I'm going to reach out.
Well, Target definitely made some money this quarter, right?
Yeah. So, I think we talked about it last time, seems to be a recession talking, but there's some people who are doing well. Target, Walmart, they're, beating the buck, excuse me. And, they're coming for this Amazon piece of the pie because Amazon is taking over everything. But they're not allowing, the Amazon to basically come in and rule it. They've got great omni channels. They've got 2-day shipping. Target has you can order it and pick it up, and they're quick. Like when you order something for Target, like within an hour, they are, get your email that is ready to pick up. Same thing with Walmart. You could do shopping online and you can come and pick it up. Target also has the now delivery. If you order it by a certain time, you can have it delivered to you. So I think they're doing a lot of different things. And this is just, I know we've never really talked about politics and, world issues. But, I think it's good to bring it in here because we talk about it with our children. We talk about these topics, so they can have a broader understanding of what's going on in the world.
Well, yeah. And I mean, it's just like so much is going on. And I mean, especially from our
There's so much negative going on. So I try to infuse the positive a lot.
No, and that's definitely what we need.
Rainforests are burning.
And the Amazon
is burning. And that just hurts my heart because that's a place I've always wanted to go to. I was able to, during my time in Costa Rica, when I was on my foreign exchange trip, I was able to go see the Amazon, the rainforest, not the Amazon, but a rainforest. And it is so beautiful. It has so much life and habitat, and there's it's a vibrant area. And for it to be burning, and that's the Earth's lungs.
Yeah.
So much oxygen is produced by those, by the Amazon rainforest, and for it to be burning, it's just so sad. We've got to do something about it.
That, and this will, piggyback from what we talked about last week. I know we talked about the mass shootings and everything. And I know everyone is anti, not everyone, but a lot of folks have left his island or he's dead or anything of that sort. I haven't got any more information from it, but Mr. Kanye West did do Sunday service in Dayton, Ohio, where the mass shooting happened. From what I saw on social media, it was a very love and light event where he was playing music and bringing people together from all backgrounds, just people vibe. Music is like the universal piece that brings us all together. If it has a good beat or anything, whether you have rhythm in your body or not, you will move to it. So I definitely think that was an awesome piece right there to, for folks who've said, oh, Kanye doesn't care, but apparently, I don't believe he sold tickets or anything. He just came out and did a Sunday service.
Well, he was lining up with Dave Chappelle, so I don't know because, Dave Chappelle is doing some sort of honoree for those. for the mass shooting. So I think they're, kind of working together and maybe some sort of like fundraiser together. As more information comes out, we'll definitely share it with you.
Definitely.
But I do love it when celebrities give back, when they, take upon themselves to see these issues and really, especially the ones that hit home, and go out and support and be there on the ground, and see it firsthand, talk to those people, get firsthand eyewitness accounts, so they can just be better people. It keeps them humble to me. And it just goes back to kind of last week's, our whole Jay-Z thing. I felt like he was very much out of touch with reality, but maybe he's trying to be.
Well,
maybe he's trying to
here's the thing.
Stay in touch.
And I'm glad you brought that up because they put, another clip has come out, or what should have been shown, because when you see how
they just posted that small little soundbite,
that soundbite and stuff like that. So my timeline's been pretty much full, and that's thank you to T.I. or Tip or Clifford Harris, as we all know. He had a post that popped up with some of Jay-Z's works, and it's given the full speech, and we're going to post it on our Instagram page of, not the full speech, but a snippet of what Hove has done. And he goes into, peace, and I sometimes feel like, it was like, I'm kind of gloating about what I've done, but he has done so many things, just a little piece of it. Like when it came to the hurricane crisis, Jay-Z provided planes and other resources to help Fat Joe send 2 million pounds of supplies to Puerto Rico, or a title benefit concert, 100% of the ticket proceeds with the disaster recovery. That was over $4 million. Bail for fathers on Father's Day. Jay-Z donated undisclosed sum to organizations Color for Change and New Ground to bail out fathers so they can be with their children on Father's Day.
That was dope.
Jay bailed out Ferguson and Baltimore protesters.
Yes.
And he also created a Sean Bell trust fund for the Sean Bell who was slain by police officers in New York.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So for those who thought that Jay...
he still could do more, but I'm just saying.
He still could do more. But then there's also another thing that's going on. I also want to bring it to the forefront. And of course, in my area, I do utilize this company, and it is Comcast Xfinity. But apparently there is a battle going on with a gentleman, I forget his name, and Comcast, and how it's not allowing him to become working media or something like that, or he's trying to purchase a piece of media that would make him a competitor within Comcast or with Comcast. So once I get more information, I will get that out there. But it came across my timeline. I'm trying to do more research on it. But that's a little snippet in pop culture right now. If there's anything that we didn't cover, please let us know that you feel is more important and very important, not more important, but very important to get out there to the masses.
Absolutely. Moments in Black history. Because every day is Black history.
Talk about
it. Just so you guys know, August is still Black Business Month. So support Black businesses.
Oh, and
okay,
August 20th, I believe it was, 1619 marked 400 years since the first 20 slaves were brought to the shores of America.
Oh, well, that's terrible.
Yeah.
We're still living in a country that we still fighting for freedom.
Correct.
Yeah. What else we got on the docket today?
Did we go over the fact that I'm about my business? I'm going all the way?
No, definitely.
Oh, so guess what, y'all? I'm leaning all the way in on William Alexander. My clothing
we have
line.
To give him an update of what happened.
So last episode, we kind of went over that, but then Shay kind of walked away because Shay got a phone call. Drum roll, please. Shay received a contract with University of Penn.
Yes. So I am super excited. I will be joining the UPenn social media team. I won't give you where, but it will be the UPenn social media team. I'll be doing their social media coordinating and stuff like that. So really dope opportunity. It's a 6-month contract. I'm looking forward to it. But I definitely want to, be gracious and show God gratitude for this opportunity. Just looking forward to really getting back in, jumping into it, and being able to, just continue to do good works, as do you want to share, Will?
About?
You being let go and what you're working on now?
Oh, well, yeah. Like I said, I'm leaning all the way in with William Alexander Clothier. I'm still right now, as of right now, I'm kind of looking for a part-time position, and I'm hopefully that this company will get back to me. A great opportunity for me to utilize, my tools and my resources, and of course, be able to, still kind of put a consistent paycheck on the table. But after 10 plus years in banking, I'm actually walking away from banking.
Woo! And that's hard. Like, I just want to put a pin in there and just kind of like expound on that, because, as someone who has, been feeling a bit of the same, it's like you get into a certain role and you've been doing it for so long, it almost becomes monotonous. So at what point do you like, I've kind of learned all that I can in this role. How do I get to the next level? How do I get to change? And part of that is accepting that maybe it's time for a career change.
Yeah, definitely a huge
and an industry
change. Yeah.
And that's, it's frustrating, because a lot of times when you're applying and you're looking for things, your resume is one way, because you have all this skill set for this one kind of position. And then now you have to come up and figure out how does that fit into a new position, with new skills that they're looking for. And, maybe you're not the most qualified person because somebody else has been in, that kind of line of work. But I went through it a couple years ago when I came up here. I moved over from kind of like traditional comms to digital comms. That's communications for those who don't know. And, it was definitely an adjustment period. I had to be able to learn how to be quick in response. I got a couple of roots, during my time in regular comms. I got my feet wet a little bit with working with social media and things like that. I was able to manage my company's Twitter profile. But, it was definitely not the robust system that it is today.
Which is really funny, because we actually cleaned out the garage and Shay pulled out this little small pamphlet.
Yeah, my
handbook of social media.
Social media for companies. And it was written in 2007.
Yeah, so Shay's been doing it for 12 years.
Yeah.
When in its infancy.
I mean.
To now.
It's crazy to think about it, but, I'm sorry, it was written in 2010. It's crazy to think about just how much has changed, and, Will being able to take this leap of faith, that's literally what it is, to say, I want to put down, kind of banking, financial services, and pick up a new skill, pick up a new industry, someplace that I've never worked in. I use it to my advantage. When I'm going on interviews, I tell them straight up, I've worked with a few different industries, and the reason why I'm able to perform the way I'm able to perform is because I bring a whole host of those backgrounds and skills, and I'm not just stuck in kind of one area, but I'm able to, I've worked in multiple industries, so I'm able to pull different, views or aspects from different things. So I use it to your advantage, Will.
I plan on it.
Yeah.
I definitely plan on it. It's,
how do you feel though? Like, are you nervous and scared?
I am nervous. I am scared. But I think, but the thing is, that's going to drive me to be better. So, I'm really starting this from the ground floor when it comes to my business. So now I'm really in the process of how do I get it? And since I've been working in banking, I know the tools. I know what to do. It's just
application in the real world.
Right. So it's like, all right, now you got to go do it. So it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever, or some of you guys probably seen the movie Limitless, and when the character was like trying to write, he's like sitting there just twirling like, what do I write? And he only has the title. That's where I'm at right now a little bit. But I mean, I'm thankful for
some
all
people say write the middle first and then everything else will flow.
I have everything in my head. I just have to, from theory to applied sciences. But I will say I'm truly grateful for having Shay as my backbone. I have
thank you, baby.
A great plethora of clients who will, definitely, hopefully, and continue to support me going forward as I'm looking to add on new clients. I know in this Philadelphia area, I have a lot of competition, and I know competition breeds great results. But I'm looking to still utilize my my travel up and down 95 from New York down to Richmond, or even lower, to utilize and bring people together. They just did a black Philly flash mob of black suited gentlemen here, which was great. It was
we were out of town.
We were out of town. No, it was August 3rd.
Oh,
it was August 3rd. It was in the beginning of the month. I was at the time working, and so I think that again, God's plan had me lined up to all right, you missed this. This is actually an event that's been put on by these gentlemen. I know several of the gentlemen who were in those photos, but I'm thinking okay, now I'm going to really jump and dive fully into this and do what I have to do, because it's something I want to build, something I want to have for my own, something that, leaving banking, that this is going to be it. This is like the rest of my life right here. I'm holding it in my hands.
So we need y'all support.
Please. I want to be putting out a video tomorrow. I'm gonna try to put out a video tomorrow, just explaining this, in digital, in video. Because until we get the piece, so I can do the video thing, I gotta do it another way to get it done. But it's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. The fear, the worry,
so he's
and everything.
basically saying he's putting his first kind of announcement out there tomorrow. If he's able to finish it tomorrow, we hope to be able to get that out. But definitely tune in and support William Alexander Clothier. That's WM Alexander Clothier.
Correct.
That you can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're working to get the website back up. We really want to revamp it and make it new and exciting. We just don't want to put the same boring format out there. So we're taking our time to do it and do it right.
Correct.
So that when we relaunch it, it's ready to go. And thank you to all those who continue to support William, who, have lined up, who have gotten their suits. Shout out to all of the great people who, just continue to provide emotional support. Just continue to put the word out there, share his page with others. If you know someone who's getting married or just wants to have a suit, or, it could be an older person, women, just all the gambit.
Women,
it's coming up on that holiday season. You want to get your best outfit on
for
holiday photos.
If you want that New Year's jacket, suits. It's about to be popping for New Year's.
We're going to definitely get some information out there for you guys, so make sure you're following him on social media so you can stay in the loop.
Yeah, it's coming.
That sounded like a church announcement, didn't it?
Yeah, family members and friends. But with this whole change of me now home, and Shay going back to work, I think
I'm terrified. I ain't been back in the office in 2 to 3 months. 2 months.
2 to 3 months. And it's gonna be a kind of
I gotta take the train, y'all. I gotta walk. I'm kidding.
This is funny
it's a
though.
Blessing.
So this is our second summer, going through this
third summer.
No.
Yeah, it's because 2017 I was off to have Christian.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about second summer, with the whole job thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's been up and down, and I think that we really haven't had an opportunity since we got back to work, and that was October of 18 for me, and then November of 18 for Shay, to really sit down and check in with each other to see what is going right and what's going wrong. So, little backstory. On Friday night, our good friend Kia, y'all remember she's a friend of the pod.
Hey girl.
And
we shouting you out.
Shouts out to Kia. And she, again, you know her background. And sometimes when she comes over, it's just happens to be in a moment where she's so easy to talk to that sometimes Shay and I just need another person to bounce stuff off of, because we can talk to each other all day, but then sometimes it's just good to have another standpoint.
Be real, she reads us for filth, low key. She's a therapist by trade. She definitely, I don't want to say therapist, excuse me. She is someone who really takes an interest in helping people work together. She specializes in, children, but when it comes to couples, it's she's got that intuitive messaging.
Yeah.
And she just picked up on what we were throwing out there and literally read us for filth. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need somebody who's going to be open and honest with you. And so she kind of just I don't know if it was a scab that was, needed to be picked, or how we want to, paint the picture. But, Will and I, through this whole process have kind of just been like, yeah, we're good, we're glossing, you know, we're fine.
Right. It was I don't think that we were intentionally doing it, but I think that in our minds we felt that we were good, but there was underlying stuff that really hit us. So, be transparent, you tell it. Go ahead, Shay.
So yeah, on Friday, it kind of started Friday night, with Kia coming over and Gordon came over, and we were able to...
What up, G?
We were able to just bounce ideas off of each other. Always good to have, other couples around, especially when you're a married couple, just to kind of be open and honest and transparent. And what transpired out of that meeting was, damn, Will and I haven't had a relationship check-in in a while. What's considered a relationship check-in? Well, that's kind of like, in my mind, hey, babe, you good? Is everything all right? Do you have anything you want to talk about? But I realized after talking to Kia that a relationship check-in needs to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Than just kind of like surface
and it got deep. Like,
did it?
It got deep.
And when starting out this process, I just wanted full disclosure. I'm pretty sure there's a whole, list of questions that you should be asking your partner, monthly, quarterly, however often you do this check-in, that you need to follow to ask your partner to make sure you guys are on the same page. Well, then I didn't do that. We just kind of opened up the floodgates.
Open the floodgates. So can't even clear that.
So, here it is, Saturday morning, afternoon. We're lying in the bed. The kids are downstairs. And I asked Will, that question.
She thought she asked it a different way, but she asked it this way. I'm going to say the question, Will, do you want to be married? I said, it's what?
And ladies, when you throw stuff at the wall, you got to be able to clarify what you're saying. And really what was happening was there were so many things coming out of Fridays that were running through my head. And so, Will and I just used this moment to just be fully transparent with him. And it didn't come out clean. That's what I want to say.
And let's just be open to what was discussed. One was talking about how we raise our children. And my way and Shay's way. And then the other one was how Shay, let me know if I'm saying this correctly, Shay, is how Shay is motherly tired.
Well, that's a good way to put it. I mean, yeah, listen, I'm exhausted being a mom. Like, that's really what has been going on in my personal growth and development. And I know we've told you guys on the podcast before, you got to check in with your partner and tell, well, I didn't do that. And I know you guys may be like, oh, well, that's the pot calling the kettle black. How can you jump on this podcast and say, give us all this advice and yet you don't take your own advice? Well, I had to take my own advice, and thank you to my good friend for reminding me that I need to do so. We're not perfect. We don't ever, come on this podcast and say that we are. Our relationship is still very fluid. It still ebbs and flows. And so we really took the time on Saturday to peel back some hurtful layers. I cried, Will cried, and we just kind of agreed that this would be the first of many different conversations that we need to have. It wasn't just, all right, we've done with that. We've settled it. No, it's actually the start of, many deeper conversations.
And I mean, still going into Friday, we talked about, again, like how we raise our children, like, how I have a fear of abandonment and why my children love me. They run to the door to greet me when I come home. I just feel that sometimes I'm the disciplinarian. And, being transparently open that Shay doesn't discipline them. And Shay feels that if she were to discipline the children, she will go to another level. And I said,
I go ham, y'all.
and
go ham.
And we
0 to 140.
And she says I'm 0 to 60. She's 0 to 140. And
Ferrari on these kids. Boom, boom, boom.
But the thing is that, you know, and we discussed it, Shay needs to probably take her aggression or something,
frustration, anger, resentment, all that stuff,
all that out. So are you going to say that your resentment comes for the fact that you have kids and you can't do?
No, my resentment towards you, you know, that we talked about the other day, which was, you know, I felt like I didn't have a real partner when it came to parenting. And, you know, like I said, full disclosure, this whole conversation that we had, it was me just for the first time, maybe in our 6-year marriage, being honest with how I really felt about our parenting. And no, I don't think two people should have the same parenting styles, but we should respect each other's parenting styles and realize that we're not in a competition with each other, but instead that we work together in order to, you know, be the best parents to our kids. You know, for those who know our journey, those who've been around, you know, since the beginning, Will and I got married really fast, really early, you know, and we never really took the time to kind of get into the nuts and bolts and weeds. You know, we just kind of figured it out as we rolled along. We've made some major mistakes. And I think now, you know, before we wake up and it's 6 years and we're headed to divorce court, you know, give it a fair chance and put all your stuff out on the table and really try to make it work. You know, I had a great conversation the other day with somebody who's celebrating her 10-year wedding anniversary in October. And she reminded me, you know, every day you got to work at it. Like, no, you're not going to be happy every day. Some days you're going to go to bed mad. But definitely always try to work it out. Always try to see it from the other person's viewpoint. And not only that, but make sure you're able to convey your viewpoint in a way that's understandable. So, you know, yes, there are times when you have to yell, but yes, there are times when you have to, you know, no, this is really what I meant. And that was for me on Saturday, which was really kind of peeling back those layers and saying, this is what I really need. This is what I'm feeling helpless right now. I'm reaching my cup is no longer full. It's empty. And when my cup gets empty, you know,
you get a little crazy.
Not crazy, but I get I get frustrated.
Yeah.
And I take that frustration out on you, on the kids, on everybody else. And so, you know, during this time period, this check-in that we had, you know, the first of many, like I keep saying, is, you know, we peeled back that parenting layer.
That parenting layer was definitely
how we can be better parents.
And being real, and like I said, my kids and I have a great relationship, but Shay said, William, you don't spend time with them on the floor rolling around. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I had to sit back and think about it, and I was like, I don't. And literally,
and that's real. Like,
we
have small kids. Like, London is 6 and Christian is 2. They are constantly just want to play. Like, that's all they want. That's how they learn.
And I had to think about, like, you know, if you ever, for those of us who all watch National Discovery or Discovery Channel, or National Geographic, and you saw the lion cubs or any type of like baby cub or baby whatever playing around the mother or playing around the father, and it's just like, all right, come on. And I had to think about, like, you know, not the new Lion King, but the Lion King I grew up on, when Simba was running around Mufasa, and then, you know, Dad, wake up. I'm like, oh God. But that's a part of life, and I understood what Shay was saying with that, because the relationship with them is, you know, you gotta play with them and be with them and understand. So, like,
and Will shared some stuff with me. Like, I wasn't ready to have kids. Like, you know, I was 26 when I had London. I didn't know anything about being a dad.
I honestly didn't. I just knew that sex was great.
I still think that way, guys.
But, you know, but when the kid comes, you kind of have to grow it fast. So we even talked about in general, part of the conversation we had was that, and again, this should have been a podcast moment when we had everyone come downstairs, but it was like 3:00 in the morning and we were tired.
I actually fell asleep.
So it was like, you know, Shay at that time was linear. Her movements were linear.
So Will was talking about in the beginning of our relationship, We had London, we got married, bought a house, had Christian.
Well, no.
Through that whole time period, I was kind of just flat in my personality.
Well, no, not flat in your personality, but in your movements. It was like, maybe like you were up, down, and all around prior to me, and then you became linear, like,
I became a creature of habit.
And then when I moved in and we had moved in together and then London came, I was all over the place. I'm 26 years old in Washington, D.C. I'm trying to wild out. I'm trying to have fun.
And we share with you guys, our struggles. So, Will was out and about. I was very much at home with the baby, being super mom. And I honestly feel like part of it, and I admitted to Will, this is a making of my own creation is, I don't do a really good job of communicating to Will what it is I need. And that's really big for him. He's like, you don't ask questions. You don't tell me stuff. And a lot of it is because I feel like he should intuitively know these things. But that's not fair either. As, a woman on the glow and grow, being able to open up and being real. And, I'm doing some self-actualization and self-internalization right now to make sure that whenever I communicate with Will or my children or whomever, that I'm able to convey the emotions that I'm feeling in a way that people can understand. And so I think part of it is I'm growing in a different way now. I'm growing spiritually, emotionally, definitely still physically, but I'm growing. And, Will even said at one point, he was like, I feel like you're growing and leaving me behind.
Yeah. But that was the thing, like, when we came in, Shay was linear, I was all over the place. And then as we moved here, I became a little bit more linear, and then Shay started to move a little bit. And I had a little bump in there, and I think we're not at that point yet to share that bump yet. I just waiting on Shay whenever she's ready to.
But we have to do a whole episode.
We'll have to do a whole episode about that. But, we'll probably the next episode. But it's a bump.
Wait, what? Just throw it out there,
babe. Just throw it out there. But it had a little bump, and I got a little bit like, okay, a little bit crazy with it. But then I came back linear. Shay ended up going up and down and everywhere. And then we didn't have that check-in conversation around that. And I think it was like, when she was working for, at the time, Villa. And then I was still in banking and whatnot. And then, I think we became a little bit more linear in 18 when we both got let go.
I mean, we were forced to.
We were forced to. We
were in each other's face every day.
We had to talk. We had to build together. And I think that was part of the plan to prepare us for what we're doing now. And then Shay got filled with love and light. And then she just went
I love that.
and I became like, okay, I'm linear. But then she's like, oh, I'm all over the place. And I feel like, oh, well, you changed and tell me. Or had a conversation with me. And
you
it's
changed and didn't tell me. And a lot of times
that happens in relationships.
Or you move a little bit fast and you don't allow your partner to catch up. So, Will is speaking honestly. And, for the guys that are listening, definitely take note. Especially as women become moms. Like, I can't stress that enough. So much physically changes, but so much emotionally changes. And during those time periods of me being linear, I definitely had my mom hat on and forgot to acknowledge myself. And so once, Christian turned 2, I was like, F this, hat come off. Will you figure it out? He could do it month. And, I'm going to just roll out. I'm going to do me. I'm living my best life.
Hey, we can't clear that. We can't clear it.
Oh, I can't. Okay. All right. Well, I was living my best life, and I still am. And, I realized I can still live my best life, be a great mom and a great wife. All it means is I have to communicate better with those people. I can be a great parent. I can be a great daughter. I can be a great friend. I just have to let people know my journey. And I post a lot on social media about my journey, but even if I post it, I have to realize that I have to take Will along with me for that journey. He's my partner. Kia reminded me so much that, she's like, always to any woman, that we are women first. And she is 100% right. You know, we should never lose sight of the fact that it doesn't matter how many hats you wear, how many roles that you play. At the end of the day, you are a woman first. And if you don't honor that, if you don't honor the sacred goddess within you, you know, you will continue to, you know, just struggle in life. And that's where I was. I was at that point where I was just like, I feel like I don't even know me anymore. And not in a way that it's like, who is this in my house?
Who that on the neck?
You know, as Tamia would say, is the stranger me? You know, it wasn't to that degree, but it was almost like I feel myself slipping away. Let me find something that reminds me of who I am. And I did. I found love and light in tarot. I found love and light in, you know, mysticism and, you know, yoga and apothecary. And Will's giving me a strange face, but I did. You know, and I'm taking my time to go through it. You know, I'm learning all that I can because it's really helped me be a stronger person. You know, as I peel back my own layers and insecurities and deal with some of the things that I have in my closet. You know, get that broom. Every now and then you got to go in your closet and clear out some of them skeletons and cobwebs and stuff that get accumulated over time. And so it's only fair for Will that I do so. I just didn't do a good job of telling him why I was doing it, when I was doing it.
It's like when the first step she took into the whole finding herself piece, it was like, okay, cool, I can get down with that. Like, you know, like
it was self-care.
It was self-care, and then it tied back
bath salts and, you know, bubble baths and all kinds of stuff. Right. And he was like, "Oh, I could get up. Right? Ooh, let me join in. I want to scrub.
Yeah, you know, hook me up. But
I want a facial."
But of course, like, you know, and I said this partly jokingly, but also serious, is that since Shay was out of work, she had a lot of time on her hands to dive deep.
See, and this is what pissed me off, because I was like, being a mom is a full-time job, period.
No, I know that, and I understood that.
So I didn't have a lot of time.
But what I mean was that you had moments where you could like dig deep into it, and like, oh, this is what it is. Okay, cool.
I had time to research, is what he's saying.
Yeah, time on our hands to go in and dig deep, and but then it wasn't bringing me along the ride. It's like, you know, and I use this analogy or the same similar situation actually was that 2 years ago.
2 years ago, you was something. What did Sparkle say?
No.
I was actually. We can't say Sparkle too.
We can say Sparkle, but we can't clear the song. But I was also thinking about the Rum DMC drink 2 years ago. A friend. No,
we can't clear that either.
I can't clear that either. But it's
You're always throwing me under the bus for my R&B loves.
You Sparkle. You. But yeah, 2 years ago there was the whole NBA 2K launching its first NBA 2K league, and I knew a lot of brothers who were playing, and I was on Twitter with them, talking to them, and they were like, "Yo, my wife is pissed at me, pissed," and I was like, let me go talk to Shay and bring her in on this so she understands it.
I really didn't care, y'all, because it was just like, oh, okay, you playing video games. Okay, cool.
But the thing is,
you in the house. You good.
But I took it as like, this is something that I am passionate about. I want to read you into it. So, and I actually made it pretty far. Almost getting drafted. But I was like, nah. When I saw the money, I was like, this ain't hitting.
They didn't pick you, babe. You could be real. They didn't pick you.
No, I could have been drafted. I was good. I made it far. I was like, yeah. Once they made it to the point where they showed how much they're going to get paid, I was like
$30,000.
I was like, yeah, no.
And you want me to make this my full-time job?
You want me to do, and I got to get drafted again next year and play again? Thanks. So I was like, all right, cool beans. I'll hold off. But the thing is, to bring it back home, was the fact that I went to Shay. I spoke to her about it.
Every step of the way.
Annoyingly. But the thing is, I would preferred that she came to me annoyingly talking to me about it. Now, there were things I would send to her. Like, I saw people post about the moon being a full moon, what this moon represents. I would send it to her. And again,
I love that.
Strong disclaimer. This doesn't take. We're not witches. We're not warlocks in here.
Oh no, it's nothing like that.
We're followers of Christ in this house. We just added. This is just an addition to within our faith and our spirituality within it. Back to your scheduled programming, but
listen, because a lot of people do have common misconceptions. You know, what your perception is your reality. So you
correct.
See that on social media and mass media and movies and
like
stuff.
if someone would have said tarot, you're like tarot cards. Oh my god, it's like stuff like that. It's none of that. It's none of that. It's not like crystal ball. Here, come sit down. I'll tell you the future. No,
I don't know. I do want one of those crystal balls.
Sit down somewhere, Shay. Go sit down somewhere.
No, the ones for your garden.
Oh, that's
that you gaze into.
No.
That's like really pretty. You know those colorful balls that people have.
Nah, the gazing ball
in their gardens. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Actually, well, that's a whole other story. But anyway, that was where
you thought I was gonna say I want a crystal ball.
I thought so too. I was like, God, come on.
I do not want no crystal ball.
He's gonna have a crystal ball sitting on a desk.
Professor Trelawney,
right?
To all my Harry Potter. That's whenever I think of a crystal ball.
Oh, and the moment you get a crystal ball, I'm buying you those Coke bottle glasses too, so you can walk around with them like I can see it. Tell me the numbers. What the numbers, Shay? What the numbers?
That stuff don't come to me. I gotta ask. Like, what are the numbers?
Get the numbers. Yeah. Ask the spirits for the numbers. But anyway,
I love
it's
William,
the fact that she didn't.
Because he is really biased about this whole thing. But at least he's honest with me to challenge me to be like, all right, what is it that you're doing? How does it make you better? What does it add to your spirituality? And how does it make you a better wife, mom, whatever? Right.
And it's not me being biased. It's the fact that if I don't, it is the fact that goes into just in everyday life. If something that we do not, as human beings, is something that we do not understand, you're going to do one of three things. You're going to either be fearful, attack it, or joke about it.
He's done all three.
But
I'm slowly he's getting into it, guys. He really is, and you've heard him on the podcast. He supports, my
love and
my
light,
self-care rituals, and I think it's important.
The rituals, the crystals. I have friends who do it as well, and it's just when it's in your own house, it's like, whoa, okay, explain to me, because I support my friends and I support you, but I want to be. If you're going to do it in my house with me in here, explain to me, walk me through it.
Let me know.
Talk to me. Educate me. Not just show me, educate me.
Right, and I think that's a whole part of the process, and is
that goes back to
education. And not only that, but just making sure that you are comfortable in whatever your craft is. And I mean that if you are a singer, if you are, you make beads, you do whatever it is, that your partner understands why it's a passion for you, how it helps you become a better person, or how does it add to your life. That's why you need to convey it to your partner.
Well, whether it be, like you said, singing, weightlifting, jogging every day, or stuff like that, it's like you have to, when you're growing, there needs to be that check-in. And that check-in needs to happen, whether it can happen.
Bring it home.
Whether it could be quarterly, monthly, biannually.
I mean, honestly, the stuff that I've been reading says it needs to happen weekly. Honestly.
It's like when
weekly check-ins.
For those of us who have children, you ask your kids, how was school? They're going to say, great. That's the surface question. That's when you have to start asking the deeper questions. Like, hey,
did you meet someone new today?
Did you color something new? Like, those are questions you can ask something to your kids. Or when they get to older, like, hey, what new equation did you learn today in algebra? Or, what social situation do you feel like, did you guys talk about today in school? If not, then let's have a conversation about it. It's stuff like that.
So these are a couple of the questions that I researched that you should be asking your partner. Again, this is consistency. You have to do this consistency, just like, any type of commitment. Consistency is important. So whatever you set as your, consistent date, whether it be weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever it is, I think you should do it consistently and do it together. But these are some of the questions that I've researched. What did I do last week that made you feel loved and appreciated? I love the open-endedness of this one. It is just so, tell your partner what they did well. Nothing starts off a conversation better than a job well done. They do it in meetings. it makes the room feel better than always harping on what the person did negatively. So lead with a positive, and if they did more than one, that's even better. Be like today I told Will, I was like, I love how you're doing it with the kids. You're really getting down there. You heard what I had to say. I acknowledge that I've seen it, and I'm acknowledging it to you that this is great. I'm thankful. I'm proud of you. Love you, babe.
Appreciate it.
Another one of the questions that are you going to need more time together this week or more space for yourself? I think that's dope. Like, babe, what do you think of that? Are you going to need more time together, or do you need space for yourself this week?
That's a deep question, because now it's like, but I know some dudes like, this is a trick question. If I need space, why you need space for? What, you don't want me in your face? Why you see, like, look, if these questions are being asked, one, ladies and gentlemen, please preface these questions. Hey, I'm checking in with you right now.
That's what I said. Whatever your standard check-in date time is,
or even
be consistent with it.
Right, be consistent with it. Or just like, hey, or give the preface, hey, I just want to do a check-in with you. Would you need some time and space to yourself this week? I don't know. Let me know what your week is looking like. You could ask this on a Tuesday, because Monday could have been.
I love Tuesdays.
So or at least on
a Tuesday check-in
or a Wednesday check-in, or just say, hey,
Hump day.
How was it the last 2 days? The last 2 days have been a little rough. Hey, do you need space from me? Do you need some space to get your thoughts together?
To process everything?
You know what? I actually kind of do. And I thank you for asking that, because these questions will help your relationship grow.
Yep.
Excuse me. See, I had some good food earlier, guys. Shay was cooking. But it's these questions that will help build, sustain your relationship. And I know, ladies, or even fellas, your spouse or significant other may not be as open to talking about it. That's
absolutely. And sometimes you just have that week where it's just like emotionally taxing.
Not just that. It's just that
work drama or whatever. So you need a moment to just gather yourself.
I'm not just that. I'm coming from the aspect of, I know some ladies always want to say this. Men are totally emotionally not there.
Oh, well, that's me.
Or I am a lady who's
emotionally not there.
There are some ladies out who are not emotionally there.
I admit that, because I've been told that I have a lot of denial issues.
Oh yeah, she's denial issues, definitely.
So this is me accepting the fact that I am emotionless sometimes.
So it's just, when this arises up in your conversation, and that individual's like, nah, don't talk to me about that. I ain't trying to talk about that mess. That's when, honestly, you need to do a reconsideration of your relationship. Whether you guys have been together for X amount of years or married for X amount of years, you need to really reevaluate your relationship and say, and first things first, don't do the whole I'm leaving thing, because abandonment issues are real. I suffer from abandonment issues. So that's my issue, and I had that issue in explaining with Shay of why I have abandonment issues.
And I have emotional issues with men. So, Will understands that, and he knows where that's coming from. I think we just have to work within those, that spectrum as we get over those fears, as we get over and process those things ourselves. We work it out together to say, hey, when you did this, and, it triggered something in me. Not to be, to damper down or to hurt someone's feelings, but sometimes you don't realize what you're doing may hurt the other person.
But the other part is like, before you even say, well, I'm leaving, this, and the third, explain to them, like, look, this is something I need. This is something that I truly care about you, and I would love to make this relationship work with you. And
I told Will that on Saturday.
and I told you this too.
I was like, this must be fixed.
and I told you this. I told you the same thing too. Not on Saturday, but I told you this a couple times before, that this needs to be done. Sometimes we need to set up these hard. What is it called? The non-hard pass or whatever, or something, or
non-negotiable.
A non-negotiable. There you go. A non-negotiable in your relationship, and he or she can say, nah, you ain't got time. Why you trying to talk to X, Y, and Z? I don't have time for that. This happens whether you are from any race, any background, any creed. I don't care who. but you need to set up that non-negotiable and say, this is something that we need to do. I understand
Yeah,
that
you should have boundaries within your relationship and let them know this is a hard pass for me, dog.
Right. And it's something that we need to build upon it, because
it's a no for me.
Right. And if you're not going to want to build this with me, then I think we should reevaluate our relationship, but
at least be able to communicate that with the person.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where this check-in comes in.
Correct.
Which is, massaging that muscle of communication to say, hey, let me ask these questions, not surface ones, but ones that go a little bit deeper. Some may sting, or even if it's, bringing up something. So like, those two questions are just, questions that I was able to research. But I'm going to ask Will, like, what'd you do with the kids this week? How were you able to, work with the kids? And he's probably going to ask me something the same.
Correct.
All right, Shay, what did you do for yourself this week? Or what did you do with the kids this week? Or did you have a situation where you disciplined London? I really appreciate the way you did it that time. I love how you took charge of the situation. Nope. And then always have, before you close out, I always like to tell Will, about, whenever we have our check-ins, I'll be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And, before we close out, is there anything you need to say? Is there anything else you want to add? I don't have anything else to add to the conversation, at this moment, so that, it doesn't go on and on, for infancy. But you kind of put a time limit on it and, give each person a chance to hear them out. And I don't want it all to be focused on the negative. Like, I don't want you guys to take that away from this conversation. It was really, ours was passionate. What else you want to call it? Well, it was
fiery.
It was fiery. But I think it was needed because a lot of it, had been repressed or regressed for so long since our last true real check-in was a year ago. And a lot has changed. A lot of emotions had changed.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that
every day you're a new person.
Absolutely. And in our family, we're going into a role reversal. So, as I'm going back to work and Will's at home with the kids, what does that mean for Will? I have been home with the kids. Now. I love that. He's Mr. Mom. I have been with the kids, all summer long. I'm going back into the workforce for my main priority. Of course, is always still home. But, I have other, irons in the fire, so to speak, that I need to attend to on a regular basis. So what does that mean for Will? Will's got to be able to take the kids to school, pick them up, pick me up because we're going down to one car. What does that mean? And how does that transpire? What are the things that need to be done about food and, making sure bags are packed in the morning, and I'm definitely going to still play a part 100%. But just being able to check in and have that moment where it's like, all right, Will, your role reversal. And I love how Will was like, all right, we're going to do a dry run this week. Because that's how Will's mind works. He's like, I got to see it in action.
Correct. I'm a kinetic learner.
In order to, really be able to grasp and understand some of the things that have been going on. So if you have a bit of a role reversal where dad is taking on more responsibility, what does that look like? And how does that change the dynamic of your relationship? You got to have a check-in with your partner to be able to let them know, all right, this is what's going on. Not just emotional, but
correct.
Physical. Hey, I've been like feeling, like I've got a backache or I've got a, foot pain. Same thing.
Oh yeah, I gave Shay a mean foot massage. That's what she's talking about. But
no, like Will's ankle hurts. Like when he, he rolled his ankle a couple of years ago and it just hasn't healed the right way. And so, one of the things I can check in with him is, hey, how's your ankle doing? Are you still feeling flare-ups? Do you want to go see somebody about it? And things like that. So always being able to check in on stuff that's just not emotional is what I mean. Checking about the physical.
So, I mean, we shared a lot. And
I hope y'all got something out of that. I hope
you definitely got something out of it. Especially just checking in and us letting you know what we are flawed humans in general. Everyone is flawed. And we are not the perfect person. So take that notion of what perfect marriage is, take that notion of perfect relationships, throw it out the window, and understand your partner, your spouse is flawed. So
you are two imperfect people.
Two imperfect people trying to be perfect people. Just be yourself, but be open to communication.
I don't think you'll ever be perfect, but just
no. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
But
you told me that, like, if you hadn't been yourself this whole relationship, who am I married to?
Right. But
that was real.
That's facts. But we want you guys to understand is that, that check-in is key. That check-in is crucial to sustaining your relationship.
And it brings us back to that conversation we had a couple of weeks ago about honesty.
Yeah.
One of the things that came out that I took away from our check-in was I got to be honest with Will and myself about how I'm really feeling. If you can't be real with your spouse, then, the basis of your foundation and everything will crumble. So being real to let him know, hey, no, I don't feel this is right. Will does it all the time where he's like, I won't do this because I know how she's going to react. No, you don't. It might, 9 times out of 10, it may be that reaction. But it may be that 1 out of 10 time that you don't get that reaction. So be honest with me and allow me to give you, my true reaction, my true honest feedback about a situation.
Facts. It's again.
Yeah.
Be open.
That's real stuff. This is real marriage stuff. Yeah. Real marriage counseling.
Right. Real relationship counseling. But communication is key. Communicate, and be open, coachable, flexible within your communication. Watch your tone, ladies and gentlemen. Watch your tone on how you talk to your spouse and your partner. Watch your tone. I know I can. I talk like actually, which is really funny. As we're closing out, we were watching Hard Knocks with the Oakland Raiders, and Shay was like, "You could be a coach," because she said I reminded her of John Gruden, the way I talk. At one part, he's like, "I gotta stop cussing."
Yes, boy.
But the thing is, all right, watch your tone, but be open to the communication. Be open. Be vulnerable, especially if you feel like he or she is the one for you. Be vulnerable, because that allows them to know that you're open to, this relationship. You're open to building, because that's the best way that these things will succeed.
Listen, it's gonna hurt. It's some real shit that's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's the whole point. If it doesn't hurt, you can't get better. So it's like, take the time, listen to your partner, and if you're truly in it for each other, you'll figure out how to ebb and flow and get to where you need to be. Will and I just realized, we did our 5-year plan last week, and we're going to pull that out, pretty regularly and make sure we're working on those goals together, everything together. And I encourage you guys, if you haven't done some sort of plan for the year, we do our yearly goals. We do it every, right around New Year's. We do our, right family goals. And we usually list up to 10 items that we want to work on throughout the year. And the 5-year plan is something very similar, but it's just a further outlook.
Thank you, Chance the Rapper, for the 5-year plan.
Yeah, and it's just something that, very big goals. And we broke it down into sections. So we have, spirituality and growth. We have finances. We have career, and we have health. And we have, 3 to 4, bullet points under each, because those are our major overarching themes that we want to work on, in these next 5 years up until 2024. And so I encourage you guys to do the same, budget planning, all that kind of stuff. Holiday season is coming up. And so, as you sit down with your spouse, talk it out. How much do you want to spend on gifts? How much do you want to spend for the holidays? Are we traveling for the holidays? Whose family are we going to see? Are we doing stuff here? Those are the kind of questions that you have in your check-ins. Is especially, do we need to check on loved ones? So like Will and I made a pit stop when we were checking in Richmond a couple weeks ago. We made a pit stop to his aunt, who we hadn't seen in many, many years. And it was great. It was a great opportunity to just check in with family. And sometimes you have to do that. But being able and being flexible to really and truly like kind of just talk to your partner about what your needs are and what your needs are together. You know, we have a family, and so, you know, Christmas is important to us, but it's not, you know, the end all be all. But I would like to make sure that Will is a part of, you know, if I'm buying stuff for Christmas, he understands, you know, that I'm not being frivolous with the money and things like that. So, you know, and that's just Christmas holiday, but there are, you know, it's kind of the holiday season that's going on. So I just wanted to drop that little tidbit in. You know, our kids start back to school, same thing.
Yeah, check it in.
Budget, you know, checking in, let them know, you know, all right, this is going out for the kids for back to school. You know, and he'll do the same for me.
It's all about having courageous conversations.
I like that courageous conversation.
Courageous conversations, because it takes a lot of courage to have these conversations.
Ooh, does it?
So that's our piece. That's what we're going to leave you with. I know we are, you know, going over a little bit over our usual hour. I know last week's episode was an hour 30, but you know, we when the conversation is good, we're gonna let it flow. But again, we thank you for listening. We'll probably tie up a little bit more of this next week, you know, on the next episode. But again, you can find us on Instagram at
number 2 Cool Parents Podcast,
on Twitter at
2 Cool Parents, Facebook 2 Cool Parents.
Facebook 2 Cool Parents.
So just so you know, there is another Instagram page out there that is 2 Cool Parents. That is not us. Our Instagram is the number 2 Cool Parents Podcast.
There is?
Yes.
Oh, this is about to be a jack move.
Right. We got posers out there.
Oh, we're about to roll up.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to let everybody know, because somebody hit me the other day and was like, hey, I tagged you in something. Did you get it? And I was like, no. And they were like, oh, I tagged 2 Cool Parents. I was like, on Instagram, we are 2 Cool Parents Podcast, the number 2 Cool Parents Podcast. So just wanted to make that disclaimer.
It's
Oh, Will's looking them up.
Yeah, it's Amanda. Yeah. Hold on, as I'm looking.
Will's doing some sneak search. We'll discuss that offline, but just so you guys know, and we always link it in our bios and stuff. But we just wanted you guys
Kentucky.
to have
Is this Kentucky?
to know where
Tennessee?
we are, the 2 Cool Parents Podcast on Instagram.
And somewhere.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I'm pulling up. Yeah, yeah. Can't take my name. My name is my name. It stays.
Say it with your chest, baby.
But yes, thank you guys. Love you guys. Love and light.
Peace.
Peace.